Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another Monday night edition. We've got MJ, we've got John, and myself, and we are here hanging out, and we've got all the secrets, and we're going to give them all away tonight.
Woo!
Okay. John, you are like way behind. It's like Godzilla. It's like crazy. All right, it's Godzilla movies.
It is. I'm going to tell you tomorrow's news yesterday.
That's pretty much what it's going to be like.
I got to unplug and repeat. So.
Oh. Okay, but anyway, while he's fixing things, he has to fix it. It's okay. It happens.
I was so excited too, man.
He was. So no, but in all seriousness, though, tonight we're gonna have some fun with you. Not just with you, but you're gonna enjoy it as well. Hopefully, we've got some of the lowdown on some secrets and some not so secrets, and why they're secrets. Can I say secrets any more times?
I can neither confirm nor deny Dan's secrets.
So since I know virtually nothing except one thing, tonight's show is all about speculation.
Oh, wild speculation.
That's an SAT
We're going to
word.
go, and a little bit later in the show, we're going to go into what we think we're going to see next week from companies, but we'll talk about NAMM a little bit later. So this is the time of year when things get leaked. Information from companies get leaked, and I want to start out, guys, discussing: does it make sense in this day and age for companies to be holding their cards so tightly when it comes to new product releases? Specifically, you get like the new controller we've been kind of seeing that's been out there, and getting after people who share it. Dealers are getting slapped because they have been sharing images of this controller. Should that even be a thing in this day and age?
No, I personally I don't think so, and here is why. You know, if NAMM was physically happening next week, where you had thousands of people on the convention center, and you get all the hype, and suddenly in rocks this secret device, but it's not. It's yes, it's still happening virtually, but you don't have the mad rush of being able to catch the attention of people that are right there. So you're doing it virtually. So why hold things so tight? I mean, they've got the product details figured out. They've got all the X's and O's ready to go. It's not like suddenly next week it's going to be like, oh, we figured something out we didn't know. Like it's already decided. So in my viewpoint, like just take it and run with it. We've been in a situation also where we're so starved for something new that you see what happens. Like I almost feel like if it happens next week when everybody else might be revealing their new product, you're going to get less attention than you did by purposely doing it this week.
I want to take the opposite side of that. From a DJ's point of view, how many times have you teased a song to get the crowd kind of interested, get their attention? Teased a sample, teased a hook. Well, that's kind of what this is. They're just trying. I don't think all of the time it's an actual leak. I think some of the time it is an intended, measured leak to different areas of the world, so it travels a little differently. But I think some of it is planned to get that hype. I think sometimes certain manufacturers want that extra little bit of drag on hype for a week, 2 weeks before it comes out, because if you hit this point, like let's say something came out today, you'd have a couple of weeks of hype. But if you have that pre-hype, you've now had 4 weeks of hype, and that's pretty big for a company to hold an attention span for that long. So the only thing is, if the company wants to do that, to get the release date, if they get that leak, it's bad for them because that's simply what they don't want. They didn't plan for the other, but I guarantee some planned for that, and they put that in there so that they have their team buzzing and all this kind of stuff up to that. So I think it has a purpose. But in this day and age with the digital stuff and everybody got their phones, it's hard to not. That's the tough thing. How do you completely give people to test it, new products, without someone slipping up?
Well, and I think you hit on it, though. If it's planned, it makes perfect sense. Like drag it out, market, we're gonna release an extremely pixelated view of something. You know, we're going to do all these little pieces to kind of catch your attention, but then, you know, that leads up to something. But if the plan is we're going to keep everything secret, and then this day it's going to come out and we're going to give everything out all at the same time, why? Like, what's significant? Unless there's something significant about the date. All right, you know, for example, you know, if something comes out on the 1st of something because it's a certain number that has the same, you know, okay. You like that? Did you like that?
That was good. That was good. Wow.
That was a stretch. That was a stretch.
Good.
But I almost felt like today would have been better for that. Not, you know, who knows? But
I never thought about that. But what's your thought? Okay, with John, you guys, let's take a look at that early release. Technically, NAMM is next week, and we've seen many companies release the week before NAMM as opposed to at NAMM. Does that make any difference to somebody?
I don't know if the timing, but I think it kind of goes back to what Dan was saying when we started, that if everything happens next week, it's lost in the shuffle. But I wonder, at one time the whole let's not let it leak because we didn't want the competition to know what we were doing. That ship has sailed so long ago because these companies know what each other's doing. I mean, they're making things, you know, 2 blocks away from the other guys in China.
Same components.
Yeah, it's like that ship has sailed, so it just becomes the game over here, in essence, for end users and how that's played to get the most. And it's interesting because some companies innocently or however, you know, they make it seem like it wasn't supposed to happen, but it does. There's no question about it. And then some companies just are so oblivious to it that they could set something up to make it more of a thing, and they just kind of, it goes so uneventful and just to the side, and it's like, wait, when did that come out? Oh, it came out 6 months ago. I don't remember yet. Yeah, it really did, but there was no hype or no anything for a really cool product type of situation.
I also wonder if how they decide to release it should also vary based upon rather the show type. So, for example, Expo is very much an end user. So the idea of, and I remember when the Evolve 50s, you know, came out and the whole thing, the setup. And so the day that they were able to be on sale was like the first day the floor opened down there. And so it was very much this hype. And they started talking about it more and more. So then it was like the week leading in, it was just like, here, take my money. But with NAMM, it's not a selling type of thing. Not unless suddenly the dealers are going to have them available at which point, and that, you know, that's a question mark that also goes into play of, you know, is that why certain things happen? Because suddenly we're going to hear about something going on sale in the next few days. I mean, those are the types of things that can create some difference. But again, kind of along that same thing, if NAMM is next week, why would they gear it towards going on sale to, you know, this week or whatever? You know, I don't know.
Here's something to think about. We have talked on here about the virtual DJ Expo that they just had, or whatever you want to call that. I have a lot of friends who are seriously, they full-time DJs into this, didn't even know that was happening at all.
Yes.
Didn't know about it at all. So how many are going to be lost on this virtual NAMM? Because NAMM is kind of a lot of people look at it from outside because it's, even though it's huge and a lot of people go, you know, it's kind of more than just the DJ industry because we're talking about the DJ people. So our people tend to stay back a little bit unless you're really, really into it. So that is a separation right there. And then now it being digital only, John, do you have to sign up to get into to view the things this year, or how does virtual NAMM work?
Yeah, you have to register to get in, and then you have to be approved to get into it. And I was just going to see if I could. Can
you get me a press pass?
So, you just have to sign up. It's really that it'll be that easy to get into. So that's not a big deal to do it this year.
I think in some aspects you said about being removed. There's two things I think that will prevent that. One is exactly what John was just hitting at, that, you know, pretty much you just sign up. It's not like in before where you kind of had to either know somebody or you had to be a dealer. Like that was the only way you were going to pass to NAMM. This year with being able to just kind of sign up, I think it's going to suddenly, everybody who's, I've always wanted to go to NAMM, but I can't go because it's in California, or I can't go because whatever barrier is going to kind of be decreased. I think the other thing that's going to help is people like Katie with NLFX and that they're doing the same type of thing that they've done before, which is these mass videos. They're just not going to be on the showroom floor. It's going to be that same type of thing. So I really think if the dealers attack it the way that they have in the past, I don't really see there being much separation, because it's NAMM, it's still gear centered, where I think that's one of the reasons why the virtual DJ Expo really kind of happened and went. There was no gear really associated with it. There may have been specials, but there wasn't like somebody dropped some new gear that, we were talking about it. And it just didn't have the same focus. So it was a completely different attitude from the people who normally would catch the eye of it.
Yeah. Right now, this is a way to throw into that. Right now, the virtual computer electronics show is going on, and that's one of the biggest trade shows in the world. And it's going on now. And how many people really know what's going on aside from people who subscribe to like CNET and some of the other places that cover it? So, like I said, when I say separation, I really don't mean like everybody. But when I saw how many people got lost with the virtual expo, didn't even know it was there. Not, one thing it's there and don't care. But what do you mean they had that? So I think they're going to lose a few with this. But I think it's a good thing because, as we know, I'm not a people person. I don't know if you ever heard me say that before or not. So these kind of expos are something that interests me. So I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am.
So the speaking of CES, I spent some time on that today, going through and looking at the exhibitors who are there, and it's amazing how many companies that aren't there at CES. It didn't. I got through the whole list. In a regular year, there are thousands of exhibitors. They weren't that this year. I don't know, maybe 500. It was a much lower number, because it probably took me 20 minutes to go through and go through and look at some things. NAMM,
I just watched the short. Each was it CNET and all those did mini versions of each one's keynote. So they took Sony's hour-long keynote and shrunk it down into 9 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever it was. So that's pretty much all I caught. Each one's keynote of the stuff they have. Not 6 minutes at a time.
Yeah, and it's just surprising to me how these shows as soon as they go digital, it's like it has a huge fall off, and I guess it's probably understandable, but I mean it is substantial. How the shows just are not the same.
Because our attention span is just not the same. Like when you're at the show and you're immersed in it,
and you've paid for it,
right? Whether it's transportation or tickets or admission or all the above, you've invested a lot more. You're going to be there and you're going to immerse. Where when it's not, the question is, I can watch that later. Mm-hmm. And so maybe that is part of the reason why some of these companies said, I'm not going to be a part of that, because they kind of viewed that same type of thought towards it.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. I wanted to get logged into the virtual NAMM experience to kind of show what that looks like this year.
Now, can you share that?
That's
been an issue before.
Yes, I
It's
can.
all pre-NAMM stuff. Do you think there'll be stuff added next week?
Yes, but I want to just kind of go through and show a couple of things. Okay, I can share this. It's going to take 2 steps to do this, so let me work on. I got to make a couple of things here. MJ, let's jump
sorry, back. 50 Cent song, my drink and my two-step. My drink and my two-step just came through my mind.
It's gonna take a little bit. MJ, we started out talking about these companies and how things get released and how things go with that. We've had experience with some things that were leaked. Kind of share that a little bit here while I'm getting us set up, if you would, please.
All right, so there are different ways things can get leaked. One of my favorite things is run up to shows. I always do is go to Twitter, things like Twitter, and do a search for hashtag Pioneer something or other, Denon something or other. And a lot of times you will find single photos leaked out on just stuff like that, where somebody overseas who is a manufacturer or works there or tests for them will snap a picture and post it on their thing in a totally different language. So I find stuff like that quite often. Some of them are message boards, and some of them are a person who is legitimately allowed to test them, snaps a picture, sends it to his friend, and his friend shares it with everybody. But one that happened last year, I'm not going to name the company, I'm not going to name the brand or the company who leaked it, but it was one of the distributors who got a hold of it and shared a picture saying, they said, no, somebody else did that. We didn't do that. But they released this thing and really, really ticked off the company. And that's how the one got leaked, is just someone there got it in stock, took a picture. I have a friend who's a DJ and works for United Parcel. And when the Prime 4 came out, he sent me a picture of them sitting in their thing in the warehouse, being ready to ship to like Guitar Center and stuff like that. So it can be leaked in either direction, because he trusted me. I don't know if he would have cared, because as an employee, he isn't, held to not releasing pictures of stuff on pallets. But he sent it to me and I didn't release it because I just didn't want to be that guy. But there's a lot of different ways it can be leaked. Like I said, and there's also that level of intended. I'm sure the companies have made fake accounts and released something under a fake name. DJ so-and-so from Germany, look at my picture. It was just someone in the company created this account. So, because it's all about money. So if you want to know why anything in the world happens, follow the money. So when these things happen, there's a large chance that it is a calculated sort of thing by a company to create a buzz. And that can be positive, negative, either way you want to look at it. There are companies out there that literally their job, they do what's called prankvertising. And they do advertising for things by playing pranks on people, and people video that and then share that on social media about this prank going on with this product or this movie or this song, and that's how it gets released. There is a common thing in the music industry that a week before your album release, you try to create some sort of buzz by doing something that gets you noticed. In the rap world, it was always get arrested or get in a fight. Other ones is it could be anything from nude shots to whatever. So that's all planned in the industry for the way that they market stuff. So that's my opinion and my view.
And now we know how he marketed his last album.
Exactly. It was, to get arrested.
That's why I didn't sell anything.
Yeah.
Keep my darn clothes on. No, I'm kidding.
That's like I went to Denny's and took 2 crackers instead of just 1, and that didn't get me anywhere.
Yeah. Like I said, it is a creative thing. That's why I look at this and go, I think it's just kind of funny. I know for a fact that, who was it the other day? Samsung is releasing a new phone, the 14th, this week, yeah. And there was a page like Best Buy or something, where somebody went into the HTML code, if you want to call it HTML code nowadays, it's not, and found the listing for all of them in that HTML code that was then going to be later on turned over to the public to see on Thursday, but they had already written it and put it behind the scenes, and somebody went into there, saw this whole listing of phones, colors, because it said such and such phone, color, blah, blah, blah. So they gave a list of all the colors they're coming out with and everything. So there's lots of ways stuff can be done. I believe there's more that's leaked on purpose than there is accidental, in my opinion.
With that, let's go jump over to virtual NAMM. So I'm going to pop over. Now, you guys you're out on Facebook, you guys are seeing things right now, and I have to switch one thing. Oops, hang on a sec. I got to switch to that camera, and then you guys can make that one go full screen on your screens, I think, to see. Okay, so this is the media, the backside of NAMM. So to a point, this is like us taking you in to the NAMM event before it starts. How cool is that? Or maybe not. I really don't know. Yeah, so we've got there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. First off, let's just pop over to the products page. That this generally is the area in which they would have the new products that they want to have it. People spotlight these new products. And as you go down, obviously NAMM is the music industry, so there's a lot of things that are from the music industry that really don't pertain to us too much, unless you are a musician. But as I'm looking down this list, typically some of these products, there would be like maybe a Newmark or a Denon piece, or maybe there's a Pioneer piece. Here, the Cloud Lifter, I've actually got one of those sitting right here by my desk. I don't know if that's the old one or if that's a new one. Couldn't tell you, but it looks exactly like the one that's here on my desk. So that's a hot new product. A wireless microphone. Matrix has got a new. Here's our friends from Eevee right here. Yep, that's on the screen with the Evolved 30. Trying to see, is there anything? And unfortunately, this is kind of what it's going to be like for the show, I'm afraid. Oh, there's the that table, the quick table. What did they call that thing? Oh, I don't remember what that. Facet. Thank you. Yeah, there's a version of the Facet table. I wonder what the price is going to be on that one. Since Gravity is doing it, but because I think the Facet was about $200 on that one. But I'm not seeing anything that really is jumping out as oh my gosh, this is so cool. LD Systems, a sub there. An LD System top. See the Maui 900, that was last year's stuff that was there. So there isn't anything that's like
Maui 44s.
And that was the Maui 5. But it's
Maui 11
in white.
Mm-hmm. Can you search by brand?
Yes, we'll get there in just a second. Okay. Because I'm seeing we're getting down here with the little thing. We're getting towards the end of this. So I just wanted to finish. Little portable PA. But one thing you guys will see is beyond, there's a couple of brands, and we've mentioned those. You're not seeing some of the major brands that we would expect to see at the show. And we're going to go to the section in just a moment where we can actually look up some of the manufacturers.
Do you have any info on how much it cost these companies to be listed as a part of this?
No idea, but I can tell you that at a typical company that has a larger booth, they can put in somewhere between $100,000 and $300,000 into this show without batting an eye. Obviously, you can do it cheaper, but most companies, it's $50,000 just to really get there and get your gear.
Right.
Yeah, you see other Yorkville stuff coming here. And that's about the extent. Let's just jump up. Let's go back up to the top here. We can go to the different areas and such and look at some of the stuff. Yeah, that would have been. But I want to go to the brands now. So we can search and find the companies. It doesn't take long to get through this whole list, unfortunately, because it's a fraction of what would typically be there. And we're a week out, so there might be something coming. One of our big ones that we like to talk about is InMusic. None of the InMusic companies are there.
None of them?
No.
Wow.
Isn't Harman? Isn't that JBL?
I think so.
I don't remember.
I think Harman is JBL. Oh, Harman. There we go. So so they are. JBL is going to be there. PV is not there. Trying to think of QSC is there. Electro Voice is there. Obviously, LD Systems is there.
Alto.
They won't. They're part of the. Alto's part of InMusic. So,
that's
yeah,
right. Them and Kai both. Yeah.
Yeah. None of those are there. Pioneer. So Pioneer DJ is going to be there.
It's Pioneer Audio.
There you go. Just put DJ and look at the.
Yeah, I tried that earlier and it just doesn't show.
Pioneer Audio there because I know it's a totally separate company.
That's Pioneer DJ that was listed.
Yeah, I think Pioneer DJ is the only one because once you start adding audio, then it starts pulling. Their search thing is not a this and that; it's this or that, or it could be this plus that, or so it'll find either one. It would find things with Pioneer and things with audio, and it would give you them all. Lighting, UVET Chauvet is there with their gear.
Both brands, yeah.
Yeah, ADJ, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing from the ADJ companies. Our friends over at JMOZ.
Dan, how much swag do you think you could get next week?
None if they're not going to be there.
Yeah, there's the casing.
I stock the show. I don't get any swag.
So these are the companies that I have gone through and I found that I wanted to be on their radar. So
Bass Boss is gone.
Yeah, Bass Boss is there. Audio Technica, so Adam Hall has a variety of different companies that they represent. There, Chauvet, Electro Voice, Eminence is a speaker, has some things with speakers, and I think they have mics there too. Gator is the only case company, I believe, there beyond LSKB. Gibson Brands, now they're probably strictly guitars because I think Cerwin Vega is gone.
And Stanton is also owned by Gibson. So.
But I think Stanton might be gone too.
Yeah.
I think they both are shut down. Gig Gear has the DJ gloves. Grundorf is doing tables and such they're based out of Iowa. There's our JBL Hercules controllers, another speaker company, cable company, IK
Media. They're the ones that make the.
Can't think of the little. I've got one of the little devices. It's a little. iRig stuff. iRig stuff. Line 6 microphones, Mackie speakers. MK2 Audio is another speaker. MXL does similar to the iRig stuff. They've got a variety of different microphone things for mobile. Native Instruments has a variety of different things at the show. Computer stuff with Pioneer, QSC, Roland. Samsung microphone.
I'm wondering if Roland, because I think that's the Roland audio.
I think it's just the keyboard, but every once in a while they had some information, like when they released a little controlling device a couple of probably 10 years ago, and it came from there. But yeah, that is about it. There's absolutely nothing.
Vimoda.
What's that?
I saw Vimoda.
Yeah, Vimoda. So. Who are they with now? I don't remember who they're with. I don't know. I don't think
we talked about this recently, and I'm blanking.
Yeah. So,
are any of our sponsor people there?
Electro Voice.
Okay.
Electro Voice. So Vimoda.
Vimoda is part of Roland.
Roland. There we go. Affiliated partners. There's Roland.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, this as of right now, this is this is their booth. When we go to their booth, and we can I can sign up. Some of the companies have sessions that I can go and sign up to be part of and listen to them talk about whatever it is. They've got some press release things there. They have the ability to get a hold of some of their people, so I could schedule a time to talk to them.
I could see me going, "Hey man, when's the new such and such?" Typing in there, "Hey man, when's the new such and such coming out?
Yeah.
What kind of deal can I get on this? Hey, I got this thing that went bad. Can you?" Can I get a free T-shirt, dude?
Exactly. Can you? Where's my little my can koozie? I need a can koozie. And of course, they've got educational contents and things, but this is kind of.
Do they have any kind of like educational seminar stuff lined up with like keynote speakers and stuff?
Yes, I wonder if this is going to show. They actually had education training. Maybe is where it would be under. They have Scott Stratton as one of the speakers there. I think I want to say was Garth Brooks either he's going to be coming in. He has an award there they were giving to Garth. So I'm not seeing it exactly here, but on the main one they're talking of some of the people, but I don't see. Scott basically is a huge social media guy who has used he's really knowledgeable in how he's created his business on the social media platforms. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here. That was on the main NAM website. It showed some of the educational things that are coming up. So,
does NAME have a convention still or not?
No, NAME doesn't. No, they don't do
People
much.
out there going, what do you mean name?
Yeah.
NAM.
This is NAM, but yeah, that was just a slip there. But so yeah, this is what it's going to be. I'm gonna flip.
Aside from the swag, I'll handle that. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, when I did this with, I'm going back to you guys here. So
Yeah, it's a
many of us.
picture.
there we go. So for some things, we did this with a couple of the trade shows this fall out in a different industry. There's some parts of it I really liked because I could just go click, and all the ones I wanted information, and then they sent me information. And some of the companies sent garbage information, so it's like, okay, I didn't get my typical interview. And some of the companies were like, hey, this is the person that I can now actually communicate with the marketing manager and talk to them about getting ready to do some marketing and promotion for them here in 2021. So it's got its good and its bad. From our standpoint, it's, we're not going to have the videos. So it'll probably be like last year's coverage when we didn't go. We just did things remotely. Right. The one, I think, as Dan mentioned earlier, I think it was Dan, you mentioned about Katie. Yeah. When you guys mentioned Katie from NLFX Pro. Last year, Katie was doing a lot of booth videos. I don't know how much of that she's going to be able to do this year, because most of those segments that they have, that they're doing a presentation, that's going to be like a Zoom webinar. Right. And we're going to be sitting in that, and they're going to do their presentation, and I'll have a little question in the chat. So it's not like she's going to be able to say, hey, here's Katie with Fred from, Fred's loudspeakers. Fred, tell us about your new speaker. That's not going to be part of. So.
So basically, I mean, I'm not sure what you've seen, but this is what she posted. She posted something today, basically, just kind of teasing the fact that she's going to be posting new at NAM videos all month long. There was one from Friday, behind the scenes from yesterday's new at NAM videos with Gator cases. So it sounds like they are, like, she's going to like their companies and doing stuff.
Ben, she has products in house, maybe.
There might be some products in house, but Ben was mentioning that Katie's been working really hard to line up some virtual interviews like this. So she might be able to get some doors open that a lot of people maybe wouldn't be able to do. So we'll see how that works.
It's all month long. They're starting to be like Christmas. It isn't a day. It isn't a week.
It's a month.
Entire season.
It's like my birthday.
NAM season.
So Johnny mentioned that there was a giveaway. He saw the giveaway link in the corner there. Those good eyes there, Johnny. I go click on that, and it's got just you can sign up for drawings. So
enter your email and a credit card number.
Well, here's a win a Maui 5 Go in white. So I'm going to click on that one and see what we need to do that.
Actually, that's worthwhile.
To enter the giveaway, you should watch at least one session hosted by Adam Hall this week and send Kate McHenry a chat with 2 things you learned about Adam Hall in the session. And then they will enter those people into a drawing.
I can vouch from the past, the virtual DJ Expo, that they actually do give you stuff, because I did receive the prizes that I won on that Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Me complaining about not going to the expo. One of the prizes was full pass to next year's expo. I said, first thing with Dan, I said, guess I got to go next year. Or this year. Okay, we're already here. Yeah.
We're there now. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I think this will be a good learning thing, because, John, you've talked about how many times about that expos in general are going down in attendance, and this could be a test to see if there can be 2 levels to every expo, the people who want to go physically and the people who don't, and you get 2 crowds that way maybe.
And I think that you're kind of hitting a nail on the head there, is that one of the things they're finding is that with the people who had to do something remote, let's just leave it as something remote, that there are people who they're finding that some people love this remote world of being able to work from home all the time. Some people hated it, but there's a lot of people who worked better at home by themselves. And there's people who bought from California that came to Minnesota and paid 3 times market to buy a place on a lake up here. And they have this huge internet connection now, and they're working up here with their California business. and they're never going back. I mean, they'll go back when they need to, but I think that life for that, and they're talking about schools, that the schools in Minnesota are going to probably continue even after this year to offer a distance option, because there are some families who are like, hey, our kids were bullied or whatever, but they have been doing better at home under distance learning, and maybe they whatever the reason. So I think that the idea that these events are going to have a virtual element way more than they ever had in the past is a real part of it. And these companies are going to have to figure out how to make the virtual thing experience as good as the other, because there's going to be a lot of people who just don't go to these shows anymore because either costs or concerns or whatever the deal is. It's just they're not as profitable as they once were when everybody does it.
That link that I sent you a while back about that company that was doing the virtual DJs, did you happen to look at it, or have you ever looked at it? Do you remember that one, John?
I don't remember right off the top, but I think it
was a company trying to create virtual expos. I'm sorry. I can't say the word expo without DJ for some reason. And what it was he designed a site that looked like you're walking into this big giant expo with doors, and you literally would click on it and it would zoom you down to the door. And then from the door, you would say, I want to go to this row. And then you'd go down the row and there would be this brand in a booth looking thing, this brand in a booth looking thing. And you just scroll along and click on the one you want. You go into that booth, see the products, text to someone there, back out of the booth, you go on to the next one. And the whole thing was designed around. They had demo rooms designed where you go, I want to go to the such and such demo room. And that would zoom you over to the demo room. And I thought that was kind of neat. It was elaborate, but I thought if that could be developed somewhere that companies that aren't so big could develop it and use it, that would be a fun way to kind of go through that. Because think about if they also took the next step and made it so you could go through it with your friends. So like we could go through it together on a show like tonight and show everybody else.
Yeah, and have that kind of shared experience, which is what these events, and Howie's going to talk about later tonight. He's going to talk about the starting of the chill room, and part of that is that having that shared experience at shows, and he'll go into more detail about it. But that's a big thing. Me going and spending a day looking and doing that information it's all fine and good, but I didn't see the giveaway link. That's a prime example. And John, who's watching it, Johnny's watching it, and he's like, "Hey, what's that?"
Right. He's probably trying to click on the screen of us talking.
Exactly. He's like, "I want to win, man." It's like, "I'm sorry."
I mean, because you even look at like Disney Plus and stuff has group watch, so you can watch a movie with different people. So this is going to be. I seriously think this is going to be part of our norm, because there is a large portion, and I am going to say the word large portion of audience like myself, who are just as happy to sit here and observe it as opposed to going. Like, there are benefits to going. I do have fun sometimes. Other times it's really difficult. White Castle, John?
Yeah.
That makes it worth going.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I also like just going to the beach. So that's nice to just be able to walk out to the beach. But not White Castle. What's the one?
White House.
White House. Not White Castle.
We did White Castle. We did White Castle in Vegas.
Yeah.
That was an experience.
But I think it can develop. I think it'd be good, because I honestly believe as a child, I probably would have learned better at home than at school. I to this day, I hated I don't remember much of elementary, but I hated junior high, I hated high school, and I hated college. It was not. I was lumped in with a group of people who I had nothing in common with other than we all were going for a degree together. Had nothing in common with them. Didn't want to hang out with them. So there's a large portion of people like me that you just get shoved into things. That it's like, okay, I got to do this because it's part of what I do, and I think it would be nice if they had both.
Exactly. Then for some of us, we'd have gotten through a lot quicker. I mean, my freshman year, that was the greatest 4 years of my life.
Yeah. Lots of people go to school.
And that was pre-K.
Yeah. It's like the movie Tommy Boy. Lots of people go to school for 8 years. Yeah. They're called doctors.
There you go. So yeah, the NAMM thing will be interesting to see exactly how that comes together. The part to see what some of these other companies, let's look at American DJ specifically. They already started to release a little bit of information that came out with the Captain Phasma. What is that? Is that
what?
They've got one of their little lights that they're little up lights similar to the one I've got over here, but it's a chrome. It's a
yeah.
It's a gunmetal.
I know what you're saying.
So it looks like is it Captain Phasma? What?
I thought this
was Star Wars on you.
Like a new.
Yeah. It's the color of her arm or her. Yeah. So anyway, so that it'll be interesting to see how the companies that aren't there, what happens to those. Obviously, we're going to hear one coming up shortly with their controller that has been leaked a little bit. But what's going to come beyond that is going to be interesting to see if we're going to see stuff or if we're not going to see anything until later.
Yeah.
Now, here's our speculating. Go ahead, MJ.
I was going to say, I would encourage everyone who's listening right now or picking this later on demand that you not only subscribe to Disc Jockey News, but click the little bell icon and it will notify you when videos drop, because I have a feeling there's a video that's going to drop sometime soon, between now and 10:01 a.m. So pay attention.
It's amazing.
I just tell you, but there'll be others too, because like as soon as they, like, you know me, as soon as somebody drops something, I try to slap some sort of video together. So these things come up quick, and if you want to learn about them, that's one way is definitely be subscribed and click the bell icon for Disc Jockey News. And these, like tonight's video, let's say you forgot about it, or last week when I did my show an hour early, nobody knew because it was an hour early. You would have gotten a notification telling you that we were on. So I encourage that. So now we're going to speculate.
So let's look into speculation. There we go. He sent that over. Excellent.
I have a speculation that I would like to bring up, that in pushing Jay for information about Pioneer, he told me when we did our virtual expo that Pioneer had 2 or 3 more things coming in 2020. They did not release a single other thing except for the one controller. So what do they have coming? I mean, what are they due for?
I'm thinking Pioneer is going to be coming out with a new pair of headphones. I think they're going to come out with a top-end headphone again. I would guess we're going to see a controller. And one area that I don't know what's going on is they had their speakers, their Express, and that's kind of fallen to the wayside. And there's one of two ways. It's either they're going to just kind of continue to depreciate the speaker line and just kind of get out of that, or we're going to see something new coming into that speaker line. I'm thinking they're getting out of it, but about the time you think that they're getting out of it is the very first time we saw their speaker line. It's like, where did these come from? And they sounded great, and they had a good look to them. So right there. Dan's
Would that be the one that I carried?
Yeah.
For 4 blocks.
It's
in the heat with no handles, uphill
both ways, and snow.
There's handles on the box. Don't believe him.
Not for my big hands.
But no, I mean, there's you mentioned about that. There has been leaked information about supposedly something that's coming along the lines of a battle mixer.
Yeah, and I think that's what Superfly just mentioned in the chat room there. So
yeah,
good to see you, Superfly.
Yeah, him and I were talking the other night about one that was leaked, and I actually got to see a photo of it. It's going to fit a market. There's a certain little market that's going to fit. Kind of like, I don't want to compare it to something else because I don't want to give too much away. But the fact that Pioneer is known for hitting all the little niches. So if you're a beginner DJ that wants something small, or a pro DJ that wants something so big you have to have help with, they'll supply it for you. And that's what they're kind of doing with some of this stuff. And it's nice to see. I have other people who complain about how much gear Pioneer puts out. Like, oh man, they should just keep it to like one thing here, one thing there. I'm like, but it's about selling stuff.
Exactly. And that
you can sell to everybody, why not?
And it's a great situation, is they have that entry level devices, and then they have the cool kid entry level devices, so they get you hooked. It's that hey kid,
everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah, here's the first one for free type of thing. Yeah. And it works wonderfully, and then all of a sudden they're spending $2,000 on a controller because they want to be the biggest, baddest DJ on the block, and they never go out and DJ anyway. But,
yeah, there's so many people, yes, that buy this expensive stuff that really don't play out.
Yes, I actually saw somebody the other day who we were chatting with, and he was talking about one of your videos, MJ, that you did, and he had another question about it, and we were chatting on Facebook, and he sent me a picture of his studio. His studio kicks our stuff. We look like we're kids compared to what he's got. He's got this big, beautiful, and the turntables and monitors and everything. It's like, oh my God, that's fabulous. You must produce your own music. No. You must play. No. I just do a couple of things for myself. I couldn't play in front of a crowd. Heavens no. Well, do
Wow.
you Twitch live stream any of No, oh, no. It's just, I'm thinking to myself, you've got like $40,000 at least in gear there. But
Wow.
that's his hobby. So
I want to ask Ivan in the chat. I do not need an answer other than yes or no. Do you have a possible generalized date that one is coming out? I don't need to know the date. Just if you heard anything more about it since we talked. Because that may be a NAMM thing or it could be down the road. Because, John, what other times a year? NAMM is when they usually release stuff. And what other times do they kind of release stuff?
Well, typically, NAMM was our big one. There was an LDI that happens in June at some of the lighting companies. Or excuse me, not LDI. It's more of an LDI's in the fall. That's the lighting one. The one in the summer is more of a Infocom. Infocom is some of the companies would drop some things there because that's more of the business tech, but some of our stuff goes there too. But the two big ones were NAMM and DJ Expo are the two major, and then the lighting companies at LDI. Obviously, last year everything was pretty much gone after NAMM was through, so there was nothing there. What I think we're going to see a little bit of stuff. We're going to see some things dripped in the next week or so. I really think we're going to see more things coming up in May, June, and July of this year. And there's really no event around these things. And the reason why I say it's going to take until then is I think these companies, some of these products they have, like some of the things from Pioneer, they probably have it sitting in a warehouse ready to go. And they can introduce it today. But if people don't have money in their checkbooks, they're not going to jump and buy things. Yeah, they could put it on a credit card, but if they don't have gigs coming for another 60 to 90 to 100 days or aren't sure, I mean, we booked three events here in the last 2 weeks, and all three of them are like, pending as far as will we be open enough to do it? And if we're not open at 100%, none of those three events will go. It's just the way it is. So,
for those of you who don't know, right before the lockdown happened, I got hired by the local Guitar Center to teach DJ classes. And like literally the Saturday I was supposed to go in was the first lockdown. And I ended up going in this Saturday talking to the manager and stuff. And I said, it's really nice for an industry that's non-essential to really have a store with that many people in it. It was packed. And he's like, yeah, to be honest with you, we thought we would get kind of a Christmas rush. He goes, but we didn't. We're getting it now. He said, because people didn't want to go out shopping for Christmas and gave people money, and they're coming in and spending that money. And the people who got their stimulus check are coming in and spending money. So for an industry that's not necessary, people are spending their necessary money still. Yeah. So it's still an industry that is may not be as high money-wise, but they're still making money at some level. They've not died out, and that's good to see.
And I think that's why the Flex from Pioneer, they didn't put a mobile DJ controller out as their first controller from 2020 or later. They put out something for the people who have that day job, and it's like, I've always wanted to kind of DJ and look cool. The Flex is a perfect bedroom
Same
DJ.
Thing with their headphones. Like you said, they're putting out possibly a high-end. They recently, a while back, put out that lower-end Bluetooth and regular. I think, is it called Flex or...
I don't remember.
Got to catch him. Howie, if you're in the chat, yes, you are in the chat, because he won a pair and he loves them. I was talking to him about them. But it's the same sort of thing. It's not super high end,
Yeah, so it'll be how these all come together and when things get released. At some point in time, we're going to see another speaker from our friends at Electro Voice. I would be surprised if we're going to see it next week. I don't think we will. It's possible. I think we're going to see that probably summer.
Right.
And it'll be a different release. But they do have some new things. It's just a question of when those are going to drop. So
do you think go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think some of these companies that are opting not to be at NAMM because it's that virtual event decided we're just going to take matters into our own hands, and maybe again because they weren't necessarily going to want to do it now, but maybe in a March have a release for a product that's going to be available in May. So rather than pushing it in January and it might not be available till May, especially when there's not a physical thing to try and make a presence, I'm wondering if that's playing anything to some of those companies that we're used to seeing there not being there.
I think that's a big part of it because they're going to be able to take that money that they would have spent with NAMM, even the virtual one, I'm sure, is not free. There's a few bucks, not much. But they're going to take that money, and let's go back to Fred's speakers. Fred wants to get the word out on his speakers. He can go and instead of spending $50,000 to be at NAMM and be seen, he can go and he can send this YouTube influencer a pair, this YouTube influencer. He can send out 10 pairs of speakers, way less investment into those 10 pairs of speakers to these people, and he'll get his 200,000 people to see the videos of those speakers. It's a different world, and as much as I love these trade shows, if a couple of these companies, let's specifically look at American DJ, if American DJ finds out that their numbers, they can't talk to their dealers at the show, but if they can do that online and have the communication, and they can look and say, gosh, you know what, our releases and these partners that we worked with, Brian Red had 50,000 people who saw the purple light, and our own one had 150,000. Gosh, that's a lot of people who've seen it. Did we really miss out? And I think that's going to be a conversation that more companies are going to be having as they go. They already started last year before the COVID thing hit. They were wondering if it was worth it, and it could really. The only reason why it wouldn't is because, like DJ Expo, their virtual event, is that it just didn't click with people for some reason.
That's an event. It was a few videos released.
Yeah, it was like
recorded stuff that I think it had potential, but like you said, what was the one you said that did one and it kind of flopped?
There's been a few of them that we were excited about. There was they tried to do a little bit of a hardware show one, and the GIE, those both. But the big one that was a disappointment was the DJ Expo one, because it was pre-recorded things. I don't know if there was a live element to any of the thing. Right. The live evening spinning DJ was a video from 3 months earlier or 2 months earlier, whatever it was. It was just the potential was there. You would assume the potential's there. Maybe it wasn't, and it wasn't worth the time to try to do something live. But
I have two questions. First one is about live. The other one is about products. Would these events work better if they created a way where people could watch together, like a premiere type thing? Would that make people's interest more to where we would have to get together and have the opportunity to comment, like on our show right here, comment back and forth to each other as stuff's going on? Would that make things better? And the second one kind of has to do with that. When they do release the products, is the product value and what it is going to be affected down the road from the size of events that we're allowed to have and the micro weddings that may become more normal as we go on? I know those are two separate questions, but I want to make sure I remembered both of them. But the first one is, would it be better if they made these things, like let's just use that DJ Expo thing, where we would all get together and watch and be able to comment and talk back and forth together, like as if we were standing there?
I think that watch party concept is going to be huge, and that's going to be what it ultimately has. And that's why we've tried to even with our own thing, is when we have the educational content, is to have a chat room available, because when there isn't a chat room, it's basically, well, now I'm just sitting watching a video, and that's kind of boring. Whereas if there's a little engagement, but I think the virtual side of things, if we were going to do it and do it well, you've got to have a live element to it, and we've got to be able to say, hey Rob, I see, it's good to see you tonight. Chris, Robin, thank you guys for being with. There has to be a level of engagement on live events, and it's tough to do, because you want to try to keep things timely, tight, and yet you want to be able to engage and answer that question that that Superfly mentions, that there's something going to be released tomorrow at 10 o'clock, but we have no idea if there will be a video or anything. We don't know. But those types of information, we can do that. We can have that live and have it so people feel like they're part of it. So if you get into something, say if we were going to be doing, Fred's speakers and his brand new speaker, well, we're going to be talking to Fred, and as the host of it, I'm talking to the audience and engaging the audience a little bit, which means that Fred's little 3-minute video I'd usually shoot with him at NAMM is going to be a half an hour, because there's going to be questions and saying, Fred, why did you paint your speakers, purple? I don't like purple. Fred, I've got a question from the chat room. The chat room says you're stupid and your feet stink. Oh, no, it was questions of color. Fred, why did you do that? Well, I'm a Prince fan, you see.
So if there was some sort of, it's like you use the NAMM thing as NAMM virtual expo, if there was more of some way to have a chill out room or something with that. Do you think that would entice people to enjoy that more?
I would think so.
Okay.
But I don't think it would not, it's not a great fit for everybody. Some people want to get in and they would rather just get the 3 minutes of information and move on with their day. They don't want to have that experience. We're in a world where it used to be that we could, it was more of a homogeneous message and you could put it out there. The news was, the news was pretty much the same across the board. The station put it out there and people watched and it's like, oh, there it is. Now the same story can be told 47 different times and another 47 different times the next hour and the next hour. And that's what that's the way people consume things now, is that they have to hear it in the way that fits them to a point from a place that fits them.
Everything on demand.
And it has to be, ready for them when they are ready for it. And it's a difficult thing because you're never going to talk to 1 million people anymore to some extent. You're going to be talking to 50 here, 100 here, 1,000, 10. It's just the way it is.
All right, the second half, do you think, and I know we're running out of time, but do you think that the actual products that the companies are going to be putting out are going to be affected by what we have dealt with, going to deal with, as in size of events, anything like that?
I don't know if it's gonna have much of an effect on what comes out. I think the biggest thing that's going to affect 2021 releases is really these companies look at what is our potential for making sales this year. It's going to be all about that. And if we don't think we're going to be able to get these products to sell, because the worst thing they could do is they can put out the DJ Speaker 1, knowing that DJ Speaker 2 is sitting back here, 12 to 14 months away. But if they can't get enough 1 to sell, next thing you know, the 1 and 2 are backed up against each other. And as soon as 2 comes out, 1 becomes, somebody who bought 1 in month 10, and now 2 comes out a month later, they're going to be ticked. And companies have run into that. And this is a year where that's going to be a big concern. If they can't get rid of the old inventory, the new stuff's going to be even pushed back farther. And I think they are not going to release the new stuff that they want now until they think they're going to be able to make sales within that 60 to 90 days. Because if you release the new controller today and say, hey, this is the greatest controller, and then no one can afford it or no one can buy it, then when they finally can in 6 months, another company just swooped in with their new controller and probably stolen some of your market. So yeah, it's all, you got to play the game.
Right. Cool.
So yeah, good stuff. So let's see, this week. So if you guys didn't get a chance to check out, earlier today I interviewed Jerry Bazada. Jerry is the banker when we have questions about what's coming up. And today we talked about the new PPP program that's coming out for small businesses. If you haven't had a chance to check into that, go down, watch that. Because I talked to Jerry today. Go watch the video from today. There will be a second one next week, because next week, for most of us, we're going to be getting into that side of it next week. This week, it's really only for minority businesses, women-owned businesses, and veteran-owned businesses that are filling out the applications this week. But there's some changes to the PPP program that is going to be coming up. So we did that 2:00 today. Just go on YouTube; you'll find it there. After we're done here, Howie is going to be kicking off his new show. He's going to be doing a weekly show in the chill room, DJNTV.com/chill. It's hanging out with Howie. Howie's going to have a topic each week, and he's going to have people come in and do about a 20-minute recording. If you want to be part of that, DJNTV.com/chill. If you want to just go and hang out and listen, you can just shut your camera off, shut your mic off, and listen to the talk. And then once they're done recording, jump in there and say, hey, that's cool. You can say that. You really can. So that is going to happen every Monday night in that 10 o'clock Eastern time frame. Tomorrow, Tuesday with Ben Stowe, we'll be back tomorrow night. We're going to be doing Ben Stowe about twice a month, and tomorrow night's the night. We're going to be talking about extension cords for doing outdoor events, what kind of length and what kind of a gauge you're going to need to be aware of before you go out to the events. And the reason this has become a big thing is I saw someone who had a 16 gauge 100-foot extension cord, and they were trying to run a 1,500 watt load on the thing. And it's like, oh my gosh. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. We've done it before. We're going to do that again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern. And then 10 o'clock, Brian and Jay will be back leading some chats. And then Wednesday, MJ, you're doing a show, music and mixing show.
9 p.m. And we're going to be talking about new DJ equipment.
Excellent. Yes, there will be more information, and some of the things from CES will be coming through. So it should be a good night for that. And that should be, I think, about it for this week. Next Monday night, by the way, we're going to be doing kind of a little bit of a virtual as close to a virtual expo as we're going to be doing this year. We're going to be having Kristen Wilson's going to be doing a seminar. If you guys want to watch that, it's free to watch the first time. So we'll be putting more information in the Sunday email about how to do that. It's just signing up at DJNTVtraining.com. You sign up, you're going to be able to get the link for it and watch the thing live next Monday night. Then it's going to go from there into the members only area, but you can watch it next Monday night. And that will be going on, I think I was going to do that at 8 o'clock Eastern. 8 o'clock Eastern, then we're at 9, then 10 is Howie. So, but that'll be next Monday night, the 18th, and we'll see you then. With that, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other secrets we need to drop?
I think we're good. Next week will be when we get together next Monday night, we should have enough stuff to either get us in trouble or make us seem like we're the cool kids for about 20 minutes. Oh,
or 5.
Okay, one last story before we leave.
Yeah.
Today I got a call from a DJ, and it was a heartwarming story. It was one of these stories of success, redemption, acceptance. So a DJ I was talking to on the phone, and he's like, I want to start this radio station. I want to be able to go and play music and just kind of create my own vibe on this radio station. And I searched for software, and I found the absolute best DJ software for my radio station. And I was just feeling so good. Okay, I'm good. I'm done now.
John, what was the name of the software?
You played into this.
Yeah, it's Macintosh.
I've got to give it to him. I've got the bottle on cap.
Macintosh compatible. It would be the new version of Megaseg. That's right. Go to discjockeynews.com. You can see the release of the new version of Megaseg. It is radio station approved.
On that note, we do want to thank everybody for taking some time out of their Monday to join us. And, if you were looking for the secrets revealed, unfortunately, some of those things we just can't do because it would unfortunately blow back and there'd be some big things. But I will say this, that when it's officially allowed to be released, these guys are some of the first ones to ever share any of those things with you. So you do want to make sure you're keeping tabs on it. And as MJ said, put the bell notification so you figure out anytime Disc Jockey News posts something up or DJNTV posts something up, and you can be the first to hear about it and know about it in the official capacity, not just the rumors that maybe get leaked and maybe are on purpose, but maybe not. And yeah, something like that. But thank you very much for taking time out of your night. We'll see you next week.